Hello, welcome to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio, and you are listening to the new streamingnetwork.com, home of the Going Solo Media and Going Bold Media. Today we are on Link to Expert Business Showcase, and I am just so excited about being here with you today. I am one of your hosts, Cece Shatz. I have my good friend here with me, Joanne Weiland. Joanne, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business, Link to Experts.
Thanks, Joanne Weiland. Why land when you can fly? Because I do believe we can all fly when we do what we love and love what we do. And that's why we love to have different experts come on and tell us what they love to do and how they can help you. Because a lot of times it seems so easy for them, but it's just because that's their gift. And they have these gifts, and then when they expand it and actually bring it into the market to be able to help others, it just makes the world such a better place, because that way you can implement your ideas as well as you can complete your projects and make your life so much simpler and easier. So let's all just figure out who we are and what we do well, and help others with what you do well.
Absolutely. So if you guys want to know more about Link to Expert, just go to linktoexpert.com. And then also you can send Joanne a message if you want at info@linktoexpert.com. And then, of course, you guys can reach me at newstreamingnetwork@gmail.com. So newstreamingnetwork@gmail.com. And then, of course, most of you, if you don't know, I am fondly called the Doyenne of Relationship Building. I am the founder of the New Streaming Network and also of the Single Social Connection, which is Going Solo Network. So let's move on to our show, because we have got a jam-packed show today. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about here.
Well, we are so excited that Jen Harding agreed to join us, but we have so much to talk about. So we decided to break it into two shows. The first show is right now, they're coming up, is you on YouTube. Walk in with your dream and walk out with a show with Jen Harding. And this is huge because a lot of people get stuck here. And so she's going to explain to us how she does that. And then the second show on the Link to Expert Goodreads Authors Corner, we'll be talking about her new book that actually stayed on for bestseller for over 31 days. And she will give us lots of secrets about YouTube on that show. So we hope that you'll watch both. And right now, we're just excited to have her come on and tell us more about how she's going to help many, many people that have podcasts inside of them get it out and bring it into the world. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you so much, both of you. I so appreciate being invited here. This is so exciting.
Well, thank you. We're just so excited because, I mean, I met you at Podfest, I think a year ago. And then again, we saw each other at Podfest in Orlando in January 2025. And I've been part of different things that she's doing, like the Fabulous 50. She had this incredible party that we'll be talking about. And also, she has another group, I would call it like a networking group of us women over 50 that get together and share ideas about our podcast. So Jen, you're just amazing. And that's only a couple things she does. So, but I just don't want to get everybody so confused. So what would you like to talk about first? Probably your new, how you walk in with the dream and walk out with the show. Tell us more about that.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So it's called Epic Launch because it's epic. It's something that nobody else is doing. Because people, like you said, they get hung up. So many people want to have a podcast. They have an idea for a podcast. And, we're all experts in something, right? Everybody knows a lot about something. And the great thing about podcasts is it's the last place you can say anything you want without being throttled and held back. You can communicate with the whole world and say whatever. There are certain platforms you can't do that on, but you can on a podcast. But people get stuck. What's the name going to be? What microphone am I going to use? What is my logo going to look like? And they might agonize for months over each one of those, or years, each one of those things. So what I've done is taken all of that worry away. You fill out a form. You give me, I need to know exactly what you want, right? How you're going to do it. Is it going to be, are you going to interview people? Is it going to be just you? Are you going to have a co-host? Those kind of things. And you walk in. Now, it can be virtual or it can be in person. By the time you leave, you will have a show with a title a logo, a description. Up in Apple Podcasts, you will have a podcast host. And are you ready? You will have your titles and bullet pointed scripts, not the entire script word for word, but the bullet points.
Right.
26 of them for 6 months. You don't have to think about it. And then, Joanne, we've been working with some software companies to get them software to run everything. They don't even really need to think about it. They've got their podcast host. They will have a place to do the interviews that is all covered as part of it. And then I've got a friend that just founded a company that utilizes AI. And what they'll do is they put their show into it once they do it. And they get everything for every show, the descriptions, the tags, the hashtags, even shorts. Even if it's an audio show, if they've recorded it in video, they can get shorts to put out on socials. And it's all done for them. So all of the things that take so much time and all of the work and all of the worry, it's all gone now.
Wow, that's amazing. Because I know we do a lot for a lot of people. And it is time consuming. We always look for new shortcuts and also new software too. And we actually help people do that. But if you can do it even faster, that's even better.
It's incredible.
Well, that's why they don't do it. They tell me it just takes up so much time. And actually it even takes up so much of their time that they just can't make money while they're doing that. And so a lot of times, that's a barrier too, because they need to be focusing on areas that they can monetize. And do you even help them, have ideas for sponsors?
So we do. Yes. Now we don't promise download numbers or money numbers, because really there's so many factors that go into that. And this is a basic show, right? This is not, a network show that you're doing. This is something that is up and running that you can fine tune later. And, we're very clear about that as well, because it's 3 hours,
Right.
There's a lot of unique ways that people can make money. And I just want to say, a lot of people tell everyone they're going to make money from their podcast. And I think that is an unfair thing to think when you're going into it, because the podcast itself doesn't tend to make you the money, but you can make money utilizing the podcast, right? You might have a Patreon where people are in there because they want your expertise, or it may refer people to your business, and then you're going to make money. Because sponsors, as you know, you need a very high number of downloads, which is higher than the average, to make some decent money on that. So, but we do have a lot of creative ways people can make some money.
Yeah, I have found over the years, because I've been doing this for like 15 years, and kind of very much similar to what you're launching now, I actually have in place. And so I totally understand, that the fact that a lot of people are out there saying, oh, you can make a lot of money doing this, and they come in thinking they're going to make money. And I've often said, it needs to be a leader into what you're working on. And I know that most of our hosts that have been with me for several years, that's how they approach it. They're not necessarily making, money on the show per se, but it's leading business to them. And it's also edifying them. It's showing them that they're the expert in their field and they're a step above. And they've been doing their shows for several years. I've got, a couple hosts that have been with me 4 or 5 years, and so they've been doing it for a while. I've had many hosts that have been on the show that have become very successful and had to stop doing their shows because of it, which is great. I mean, that's exactly what we want. But the reality is if you're going to start a podcast thinking you're going to get rich quick, it's just not going to happen. It's just, It's totally not. And then the technology is moving so swiftly. Like podcasting is awesome. I mean, everybody and their mom is even doing podcasting now. So it's like it's really a great thing. We've gone from, the 15 years I've been doing this, we've gone from the radio to the podcasting. Now we're going and well into the TV, because we're well into the TV now. But the next new step is streaming. You're going into the streaming, so you really have to, be step forward into the technology moving forward. So I love the idea that you're putting everything under one house, which we've
Oh,
definitely been doing here at the New Streaming Network, and I think it's really a good thing that you're doing, and helping people step out of the box and feeling confident to be able to do their shows. I think that's very important. So yeah, kudos to you for doing that.
Yeah, thank
exactly.
you. I
A
appreciate
lot
it.
of people don't know all the steps they have to take. And a lot of times, even if they do know it, they're scared to. They really, truly need somebody to lead them and guide them to do it. And I think that's why, Jen, didn't you tell me like the average person only creates 3 episodes?
Yep. Three.
I mean, so
70% of people stop after three.
that's
Yeah.
really sad. So I think if you work with somebody like Jen and they help you figure out a lot of the stuff, like she said, to be able to be ready for, what was it, 26 different shows. So, I mean, topics and everything like that, and the titles even, that's huge, because then they feel like they just have to fill in a couple blanks versus start from scratch.
Exactly. And if you want something more, completely put together, that would be Cece's wheelhouse, which was, so I think it's complementary actually what we do, because you're more full package, intense, complete, whatever. And we're setting it up quickly, and so that they can kind of fine tune it later. And so I think that's what's really neat, is that we both do similar things, but it's not really competing, because the people that go to
Oh yeah.
you are not the people that are going to go to me, which
Oh
I
yeah.
love, and I love, that's another thing about podcasting. I feel that there's not so much competition. People work together, and we can talk on the same show about doing similar things, and it doesn't feel like competing. It just feels like it's complementary. And I
Right.
love that this is my year of strategic partnerships. It really is, and so it's great to know that if I've got somebody who says, no, Jen, I want more than what you're offering. I want the whole thing completely, like beautifully done. Well, that's not a 3-hour project, is it? So
Right.
that's a CC project.
Mhm.
And isn't it nice that we can have somebody to pass things to like that, and work
And what I
together?
love too is that you're embracing some of the new technology like AI. I don't think people are embracing that enough, and being able to use it enough. And so trying to have them understand, how they can use AI to their benefit, I think is really a true great thing, because I don't think people are using it. Like I said, I don't think they're using it enough, and they don't know how to use it. And so I think that's very important. And then I love the idea of the shorts, because the shorts are in. I mean, they are the thing that's happening now, the shorts and the reels. And so helping people to not only do them, like if you're going to be doing a short reel, there's different topics and different things you want to make sure you touch on. So the beauty of that is, when you're doing your podcast, or when you're doing if you're doing a live show like this, knowing that you've got to touch in on a few things, so that will bring forward in the short, which is important. So yeah, and I love the idea that you're doing that. So so you're really embracing podcasting has it how it has always been, but also bringing it into the future of what's happening today. So I think it's really cool. I think it's great what you're doing.
And a
Definitely.
lot of it she's
Thank
doing
you.
for them. And that's really the key. I really do believe that a lot of people want to do these things. But if they're like me, who wants to take all the time to learn it? So if Jen can have
Mhm.
it for you, that's really huge, especially when they're new like this. So, and I think almost
Exactly.
everybody, even though we think everybody's doing it, but I think more than not, everybody wants to do it. So the ones that want to do it, and maybe even the ones that did do the 3 episodes, should contact you, Jen, because of the fact that maybe that's what they needed, somebody to be there with them to keep going. Because I do find a lot of people quit just because they get stuck. And
Yeah.
when you could help them get unstuck, and I know at one time, I talked about you might even go to them. Are you going to do it online now? Or because this is also breaking news that she's doing all this. Have you decided if you're going to go visit them
So
or just do it on Zoom or something?
we're going to do both. We're going to do in person and online. The goal is to do 50% each way. So if I need a group, if I'm going to fly somewhere, I need we need a group of about 8 people, and then I will actually fly out to you and I will put it on for you. And so, it's kind of like, we have an affiliate. We don't have discounts or things like that because what we're offering is not discountable. But we do, if somebody sets it up, then they get their ticket in for free, and we will set it up for them. But it's going to be so much fun. People can put a group of friends together. They can all do their shows, and we can just have a blast together. And as I'm traveling around to speak in different places, I'll be setting them up where I go speak, and which will be for me mostly US, although I'm going to Europe in 2 days. But I also am licensing my program so that other people can do it as well, and so they can do it anywhere.
Wow.
Great. Yeah.
You got it. All the different tiers. I love that, because that's what most people have it one way or no way. Then that's the only way. And everybody's different, and everybody has a different way of being able to do it. So Jen, I love that you have some people that are the leader, and maybe they even have a group and they want to introduce it to their association or their, network, as well as, you could have them, and imagine saying that you have Jen Harding coming out to their area to teach them. So I love that. That's wonderful.
Great idea. Yeah. The other thing is too, is a lot of people, when they go into this business, right, they go into doing the podcasting or whatever, they go into it and they're not really sure on what to expect. And so when they go in, their expertise is not in podcasting. It's not in setting up the video, setting up a short, doing any of those kind of things, or any of the other services that you're going to be giving. They don't know any of that. So it's really great to be able to work that out, being able to go through that. But then also, and this is, I'm very positive, but I also want to bring a little bit of the negative in too. If someone, let's say for instance, they take your course, right? They do it and they do the three shows. If they decide at the end of it, you know what, this is not really what I want to do. It's not, not something I want to continue on. They got 3 great shows, that
Absolutely.
they could actually market, put it on their website, use it for their benefit. So it's a great marketing tool. So either way, it's a win.
Either way, it's a win. Absolutely.
So even if you're on the fence thinking, I'm not sure if I really want to do this, but it's a good marketing tool for you. So, hey, give it a shot. You never know.
It is.
I started and look at me now, 15 years later. So yeah, you never know.
And that's the thing with me too. I started and now here I am on YouTube. I'm about to hit 100,000 subscribers and doing whatever. And the other thing that we do, because of the pod fade situation, right? A lot of people get hung up in what equipment do I need? And they spend all this money on equipment. Guess what? We tell them not to buy anything at all. We're having them to record it on their phone. And do you know why? They don't even need a microphone, because Adobe Podcast has a free program that you run the sound through. They could be next to a jackhammer and it sounds like they're in a studio. So they pay for it they pay to come through my thing, but they don't have to buy anything else. And then if they do 10 episodes, whatever, they get them up, they decide they like it, then we actually are working with a company to get them discounted products so that they can buy their tech for a discount. And but they don't even have to invest in that in the beginning, which I think is huge. Now we do a corporate version where we bring them the tech, because for a business, you need that.
Right.
But for everybody else, just because we want it to be low entry, right? Just get in, get it done, get it started.
Right. And so I'm sorry. Did I misunderstand? Was it 3 episodes or 10 episodes you're doing?
So what we do is they record their trailer with us, and we get that up in their host and on Apple Podcasts. Mm-hmm. We give them 26 titles and bullet pointed scripts. So not word for word, because when people read a script, it doesn't go well, right? And that way, when they've got the bullet points, they can kind of, Now, what if they want to do an interview show? We give them 26 names of people that they can reach out to and the questions that they would ask those people. So no matter which way they want to go, they've got their ideas. Now, what if they don't like a couple of those? That's okay. They can tweak it because we're also teaching them how to use ChatGPT. We have a 20-minute course in ChatGPT we do there so they can learn how to get the information they need and they can change it on their own. And that's the great thing is it's all flexible, right? So I tend to do things differently than everybody else. And I do things, differently and quickly. And a lot of people say things can't be done the way that I do them, but they can. And the other thing is that done is the new perfect. So once I embraced that, my whole world changed because I am a horrible perfectionist and everything needs to be absolutely perfect. Well, you know what? If you walk in 3 hours later, you walk out with a show, it may not be everyone's idea of whatever your idea of perfect is. I don't know what that is, right? But you can change things later. Like we have 5 templates for logos. If you don't walk in with your logo, you're going to put your picture and your title and your color into a template and walk out with that. Now, can you change it tomorrow? Absolutely. Right? You can change it to whatever you want it to be. But for today, it's done.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're here on our station. It's not about being perfect. It's about the content. It's about getting the information over to who needs to hear it. And that's
exactly.
And I love that. I love that concept for sure. And that will definitely take them places. So you're wonderful, Jen. I want to thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to take a quick break. So everyone that's listening, please stick around with us because there's so much more information that you definitely want to listen to. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, which is our radio station. Also, we are on newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of our Going Bold media and also our Going Solo media. We want to thank you so much for listening to Link to Expert Business Showcase. And we have Jen Hardy with us, and she knows everything, all the ins and outs about YouTube. We're going to talk a little bit more about that because she's generated a tremendous amount of views on her YouTube channel. We want to know how it's done. We're going to find that out when we get back. So you guys stick around. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back. You guys are listening to newsstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo Media and Going Bold Media, those individuals who are inspired to move forward in their life. And we are so pleased to have you here with us on also WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio. And today we're talking about YouTube, right? We're talking about you on YouTube, walk in your dream and walk out with the show with Jen Hardy. First part of the show, she shared with us what she's putting together to be able to help individuals that are wanting to be able to step forward and do a show, do a podcast, and what they need to be able to do that and kind of help them, assist them in being able to do that. And we're just thrilled with all the wonderful ideas she has about AI and shorts and all that kind of stuff. But now we're going to talk about YouTube because everybody wants to know, how do they get those views? How do you get those views up? I mean, we're just streaming, we're doing all the things that we do. You see crazy videos, you see serious videos, you see talk videos, everybody brings their family in videos. How do we get those views, Jen? Tell us, what do we need to do?
Well, let me tell you. It's a whole different way of looking at it. Okay, so everyone thinks exactly what you said, right? You see this and you see that and funny cat videos and whatever. But guess what? That isn't what YouTube's point is. That isn't what YouTube's purpose is. Are you ready? It's Google. YouTube is a search engine. And when people start looking at it like a search engine, it changes the way their channels go. Because from the file you upload that is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, it's got SEO words in it, right? To the title, to your description. What you're doing on YouTube is you're answering people's search questions. And so if your videos are answering the questions that people are asking, because what do you, when you type something into YouTube, what is that thing that you're typing into called? The search bar.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to answer the questions that people searches. And once people understand that's what it is, it changes everything. Also, YouTube is a jealous lover and they want you on their platform. They don't want you anywhere else. As a creator, as a viewer, they want you there. And so if you know those two things, that is going to help you so much. And so what I did, I had a channel for 8 years. Oh my goodness. I wish I could show you the picture. It's absolutely flatlined. I had 127 views and 38 subscribers at the end of 8 years. And mind you, I had done a 30-day series where I worked 14-hour days for 30 days and did an episode a day. Did not move the needle because I didn't know what I was doing. I was a podcaster. I'm an audio podcaster, which, I still consider myself a podcaster, but now I'm a YouTuber. And it's funny when people hear that because they look at me and they're like, you can't be a YouTuber. You're too old. And that's okay. There's a place for everybody out there. But everyone kept saying, put your podcast out there, put your podcast out there. And I have a Fabulous Over 50 as my podcast, top 2.5% worldwide. And I thought, well, I know that YouTube is part of Google, and I just want Google to know I have this podcast, basically, so they can send me more views. Okay. Or listens or downloads or whatever. Send people to my website. So I decided to do that with this, an incredible Judge Stephanie Boyd. She is an amazing woman. I love her so much for so many reasons. But I thought, if I'm going to do that, there's a project I've always wanted to do. And it's something different. So I love shower thoughts, right? The little thoughts like, why do we drive in a parkway and park on a driveway? Things like that. But nobody does them in the shower. And I thought, I need to do them in the shower. Dressed. I have a blingy robe because everything I do is blingy. You can't see it here. Like this jacket is full of glitter, but you can't see. But so I did this robe and I hold the shower nozzle as a microphone, and I hold my like nozzle here, phone out here, no fancy microphone, no anything, in the shower, batched out 100, scheduled them 3 a day for a month, put my episode up. I was monetized in 3 weeks and I had 250,000 views my first month.
Wow.
So why is the question that everybody asks, and I'll tell you why. And you need to take something that's popular, take something that's viral, take something that people like, but you have to make it your own. So the shower thoughts, I made them my own. No one else does it in the shower. There's still no one else doing it in the shower. I'm about to change it up a little bit and leave the shower because I've done over 1,000 of them. I put up over 1,000 videos my first year on YouTube, which is another contributing factor, right? Is that I create a lot of content, but also because my shower thoughts were unique, I got the attention of YouTube, and I got my first partner manager when I had 2,300 subscribers. Usually you need 100,000. I got my second partner manager when I had about 10,000 subscribers. So I now have 2 of them, and I'm about to hit 100,000, which means I get my own dedicated partner manager. I had set a goal for my birthday, which is at the end of this month, a year ago, thinking, it was one of those, they say like dream high, right? Aim for the stars and at least you'll whatever. And I did it. I'm doing it. It's going to be there. I'm on track to actually hit it a few days before my birthday. If things go, you never know with the algorithm though. I mean, you never know. You can't make any promises. But, and so because of that, I've got to go to YouTube parties and do all these wild things. And I wrote a book about it, as you touched on, which I think we're going to talk about next time. But, it's just been, and it's given me the opportunity to collaborate with some people that it just blows my mind, really. It really does.
That's tell them the story about the time you went to that YouTube party with the.
Sorry.
When you walked out, I'm trying to remember.
So my first YouTube party, I was so excited. I mean, I got this cocktail outfit and I was so fancy. But, this is with people that are younger. They're in tank tops and jeans. Like, they're not dressed like that. But that's okay. It's my brand. So it's fine. I get all dressed up. I drive. It takes me like 2 hours to get down there. I don't know why. And I'm down there, and I'm a little bit edgy because I was late. And, you know, it was great. It was wonderful. I mean, they treat us wonderful. I got to meet some people with, you know, millions and millions of subscribers that are huge. And, you know, they just talk to you. You know, we're just all buddies, right? And it felt so good. But I was the oldest person in the room by far, by probably a decade. And that did, I did feel that, right? Because I'm originally from Los Angeles. And when I was raised in the 80s, you know, I mean, once you're 40, you're done. You're done. Nobody, you know, and if you look at the ladies that are in movies and things that are my age, they all look 20. Mm-hmm. And so part of me was like, you know I belong here, but do I belong? You know, that little voice, right? And so I'm walking out, and I'm parked right across the street from where we're leaving, but it's a Disney Springs thing. And so with Disney, you know, you have to go in their way. You can't just go the straight way. And I went where I wasn't supposed to go. And this cast member comes up and he says, you know, you're going to have to go, you know, like what, a half mile that way, and then turn around. And I said, I am not going to do that. I was just at this YouTube party, and I was the oldest person there, and I'm tired and my feet hurt. And he said, oh my gosh, you were at a YouTube party? And I'm like, yes. And he said, and you were the only oldest person there? Yes, I was. And he goes, do you know how cool that is? Do you know how many people that are younger wish they could be at that party? And how many, and that there isn't anyone else your age. Do you know how exciting that is? What an opportunity. And I tell you what, thank you for bringing that up, Joanne, because it totally changed my whole way of looking at things. It really did. Because instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I'm the only, I know, I get to think, you know what, I get to represent people my age, because yes, we can conquer tech. And yes, we do belong. I have had a lot of people comments tell me I don't belong on the internet. I don't belong out there. And that is not true, because people need to see, they need to see aging, because if we're blessed, we get to age, right? Yeah. And they need to see women, and especially women, I feel like, that are aging naturally. Because if you want to have some work done, have some work done. I don't have a problem with that. But there needs to be a balance, I think, yes, where people can see, because I don't think it's fair to women who choose to age naturally that all their husbands see when they turn on the television is people that have had a lot of work done. And then they look at their wife and they think, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Well, no, there's nothing wrong with her.
It's funny. I remember my ex-husband telling me one time, he says, why don't you look like Christy Brinkley? And I said, because you don't have enough money to make me look like her.
You know, can I tell you what an issue Christy Brinkley is in my life? Because my husband, because, you know, LA, right? All the time. You're no Christy Brinkley. That is what I heard all the time. And it was funny because I was just actually talking to my nice husband today about that.
I like that.
Is that, you know, it's so unfair, right? Well, and Martha Stewart last year was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in a bathing suit. She's in her 80s, okay? She doesn't look like that. And you know, I try to explain to people, anyone who's on TV or in the movies or whatever, they've had work done. And people will argue with me. No, nobody looks naturally 20 that is over 50. They don't. And it's okay. If you want to, you have the money, go for it. I have no problem with it. But I just think we also need to have a little bit of a healthier idea about aging and being natural, and that there is a wisdom that comes with age. I think we've lost the respect for people that are older that most cultures have, and we used to have. Sorry, that is my soapbox. I can get off of it now. Just
I agree. I think it's great. I mean, I think that you know, my mom always said beauty is within, and so it truly is. And so I think we should, as individuals, if we're older or whatever age we are, we need to shine, you know, and make the best of it. But yeah, no, I love all that you have to say, and I think it's like fun. You know, you're in the shower. Maybe we need to do an episode with our shower caps on or something. Maybe we should have done that. If I had thought about it, we could have wore shower caps when we introduced you. But that would have been funny.
But she doesn't wear one on her shower talks.
I don't. Well, there's no water because I have tech in there. But you know what I want to start doing too is actually doing shower thoughts with other people remotely. Dressed. We're all dressed. This is always the question. But wouldn't it be fun to just do, a side by side, and we could just, have a shower thought together? I don't know. I think it would be different.
And I have a handheld, so it would look like yours when you're talking.
Right.
I love it. And I don't know how you come up with all those incredible sayings. I mean, they're just fabulous. It makes you really think, And so, Jen, it must take a long time just to create those, let alone then record all of them. So my hat goes off to you, because you're always going above and beyond and stretching it. And now, like this, doing a shower talk with each other. I mean, it's brilliant, because I really do believe in that we have to do what we do, but then we also have to ask ourselves, now, what can we do to take it to the next step? What else could we do to make it better? Because it's great to do things, but I also feel like we can repurpose things. I mean, I'm a real big believer in repurposing. And we're going to be talking, like you said, about your book later in another episode. But I'm telling you, you can convert services in your products. We actually have 181 ways you can make money being an expert on Link to Expert, because I do believe that there's so many different ways that you can do what you do and bring it to the world in different ways, because different people are going to receive it differently. And your shower talk I call it shower talk. I thought you've been saying shower thoughts. And so I apologize. I think of it in my mind as shower
I like
thoughts.
that.
But because I feel like you're talking to me, you're saying the craziest things. And I'm like, yeah, why do we call it a driveway? Like that. So I love it. So I appreciate you always going the extra mile and stretching our,
Thanks.
not just our imaginations, but stretching our ability to do something more. And helping us do it too. That's the other thing. A lot of people that do that, kind of like we were talking about aging, but they're, the one, like what you do is not just that you're doing it for you only. You do bring it to the world, that you help them do it as well. And that's really huge.
I'm trying. I am trying. I'm so motivated to get up and do things, and I want other people to be motivated to, everybody has their brilliant ideas, and we're so afraid, that little voice, who are you, right? Who are you to do that? Somebody knows more, somebody, whatever. But it's, it's funny. I was having a conversation with somebody in college, and I said, everybody's faking it out there. And she said, what are you talking about? I said, even CEOs of companies, we're all just guessing. We're coming up with ideas and trying it, just like you come up with that ideas. We don't know if it's going to work. We hope it's going to work. Bigger companies that have more money to throw money at it, it works more, but they're just making it up. That's what we're doing. And she said, oh my gosh, you mean I can just go try random? I'm like, yes, that's how things happen. And I think the more people realize we're all just faking it till we make it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody has the playbook of life that tells you exactly what's going to work.
And, most people are afraid because they're going to be told that they did it wrong, or they're going to think they did it wrong. But I often find I have to often know what didn't work before I know what does work. And I have to just be brave enough to try it. And you're saying that as well. And it's so true. No matter who we are, where we are, just if you get an idea, I feel like I call it a download. And I even think it's a download from God that gave me ideas. And maybe it didn't work out the way exactly that I thought, but it usually brings me to the next step, or brings me to knowing again that didn't work, but maybe now a new idea of what will work. So just try it, just do it.
Right. Well, okay. WD-40 is a good example. WD-40, You know why it's called that? No. It's water displacement, their 40th try. That's it. Really? They tried 39 other things and it didn't work. And the 40th time they made it. So, and Charles Schultz, he went to Disney to get a job, and Disney said, you're horrible. You have no talent. Quit now. Okay. So, just because somebody else tells you have an idea, or like you said, just because the first one doesn't work, doesn't mean that it's not the thing. People thought shower thoughts was a stupid idea. They thought a 56-year-old woman standing in the shower was going to get no traction whatsoever. Well, I wanted to do it and I did it anyway. Right? People told me I couldn't write a book in 2 weeks, and people told me I couldn't put on my award show in 2 months. And you know what, Joanne and Cece, we can do what we want. We can. The world is our oyster, And
I was so proud of you when you did the award ceremony too. I mean, we had people from all different continents, different countries, and they were live on your YouTube on video accepting their awards. I mean, you did things that people just don't do. And it was beautiful. It was proving, that it can be done again. And you looked
Yeah.
fabulous in all your bling. I mean, I can still remember your nails. They were just gorgeous. And, your hair and
Thank you.
everything. So Jen, thank you for always stepping out. And thank you for being on the show today and helping us to be courageous, because I really feel like that's really the key, that just really step out there and do it and try it. And, what do you have to lose? The only thing you have to lose if you don't try it.
Exactly. Exactly. So do I have
And
2 minutes? Do I have 2 minutes to share something?
yes,
Okay.
Cece always asks. But go
Okay.
ahead.
So, is that okay? So, because I want to share why. I want to share why, because if you're listening and you don't know who I am, it is because I was told in 2018 I had a year to live because I have a progressive disease. It has only gotten worse. It's not gotten, but it's never going to get better. I mean, barring a miracle, which could happen, but it's not happening. Yes. But when they told me that, you have two choices, really. You can give into that. And I mean, and I'm not saying I don't think that, okay, positive thinking goes a long way, but I don't think it's fair to say that if positive thinking could save everybody, because then children would, whatever. Okay. But that being said, I'd made a decision that I'm just going to do everything I can to make the world a better place while I'm here. And so if I have an idea, I do it, because guess what? I might not have next month, right? And and so I moved my family to this island. I've always wanted to live on an island. So we do. Because I thought if I'm not here, they can live here. And now I get to enjoy it. And I think that's why I'm still here, because the salt air and the ocean, they're incredible. But I think you don't need to have a near-death experience to live every day to its fullest, but I just want everybody to understand how fortunate they are to have another day.
Yes.
And that you don't know what's going to happen. So take those dreams and make them a reality. Don't wait until you have more money or the time is right, or it's never going to be.
Right.
It's never going to be. So now is the time.
Perfect.
And
I
done
always
is a new
think it.
perfect.
I always say when people say, "Oh, I'm going to wait till I get it all worked out," and it's like, no, grab it and go for it. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love it. You're great. Well, we're going to be talking about her book. And so we want to make sure that you guys know about her book again. It's Uncensored YouTube Hacks, Pro Tips You Need to Master Video Impact. And so we're going to be talking about that on our Author's Corner, the Link to Expert Good Reads. And so we want you guys to tune into that show, because I think that's going to be very interesting. And it'll also be a step up for you, if you're thinking about doing a podcast, a video, or whatever, getting into this media field. You really want to grab a hold of all of the information that you can. So we're going to have to close this show. We love so much being with you, Jen, and we're going to hop on the author's one, and we're going to talk a little bit in depth about your book and why you wrote it, and what it's going to do and help people. So we want to thank you so much for being on the show here today. So we had Jen Hardy on the show. You guys can catch her. She's the CEO of Hardy House Media, and she's got the Jen Hardy Show. And check out her website, Jen Hardy, and that's Jen, Jen Hardy, HARDY.net, NET. So make sure you check out her website and get all of the information that you need from her. She's starting this new program. So if you're interested in doing something like that, jump on board, because it may very well shift, your business, shift your life. All that you have to offer. You never know, because, you can walk in your dreams and walk out with the show. And so I think that's pretty exciting. So thank you, Jen, for being on the show. You're listening to newstreamingnetwork.com, home of Going Solo Media and Going Bold Media, and our wonderful radio station, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We want to thank you all for being with us here today. We are so very, very pleased to have you with us. And we want to thank you for all the support that you give us each and every time. We are on a bi-weekly show. And so if you guys want to catch us next week, the next time is going to be the 23rd of May. So you want to definitely check us then, but bi-weekly. And we're very excited to be here with you on the Link to Expert Business Showcase. And I have my good friend Joanne Weiland with me. I am Cece Shatz, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now, everyone.